We're going to talk about a bit of a controversial subject, and that is BDSM. Stay tuned. Well, hello and welcome. My name is Arica Angelo, and I am your dating and relationship expert. And my friend Nico Veresen, we will put his Instagram here. He's done several videos with me. I highly encourage you to watch those videos. But we're going to talk about something that is a little bit racy. It's not something that people just openly talk about. In fact, I would imagine that if people do this, it's something that's very secretive. And it's BDSM. What is BDSM?
Bondage, dominance, submission, masochism.
So bondage is like when they tie you up.
Tie you up with ropes. Dominance is somebody leads. Submission, somebody follows. And then masochism is enjoying pain.
Oh wow, okay. So just go right into it, because this is outside of my pay grade.
Well, people think it's almost for weird people, but when you look, for example, to how's it called again, 50 Shades of Grey, it's very clear that there is a big need for women to surrender, to be able to be worshipped by a strong dominant man, a man that she cannot control, a man that she cannot play like a little puppeteer. But now, why is that? Why is that such a powerful message?
Okay.
Well, I believe that it's more needed than ever, because a lot of women are stepping up in their power, and I love that. They are controlling, they have a travel business like you, and they have so much things to arrange. Comes above that many women have children, so then they have to take care of that too, because it's still like that. Mostly the woman will take care of the kids and the households. So you have all these things that you have to control, you have to think about, a giant list. So then, if you then also in the bedroom have to start to think about things and start to organize and to lead, well then very often a lot of women don't like that. For sure, the more powerful the woman is, the more strong she seems. I have found that the more that seems to be, the more transformative it can be.
Wow. Because
what is sexual desire? Very often sexual desire comes from balancing out the rest of your life. You see it even in the other way around. When you have very powerful men, they very often become submissive sexually.
Yeah.
Well, they lead from the bottom, they get what they want, but what happens is they don't have to worry. They can just surrender, and then the other person takes care of them. And that's the key. You take care. If you are dominant, then you're taking care of your lady. You're taking care of her satisfaction. You're taking care of making her completely excited. And there is and because it's such a taboo for women these days, we have to be our own, we have to take care of ourselves. Then that thing that you can't do, surrender to a man, becomes really, it's like an inner protest of, you know what, Ma, I will fucking surrender. I will let go completely, and he can do with me what he wants. He can use me forever he pleases. But then why? So that's why, for example, bondage can be really transformative, and people call it subspace. So when a woman or man, but for the same method, gets tied up, it's not like, oh, you just tie her up and we let her lay down. Sometimes it can happen, but generally it's much more transformative. It's like a process. It's very intimate, because the person that is being tied up, she or he surrenders completely, allows herself or himself to be almost your plaything.
I would imagine with that happening that you would have to really feel safe with your partner. You really have to trust them, really trust their power, trust their control of their own power, and trust how much they are willing and available to care for you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because otherwise this could get really effed up.
It could really.
Yeah.
And so before you do, you have to know your shit before you tie somebody up. If you do it wrong, you
could hurt them. Yeah.
So it's very important if you do that, please get some training.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
At least read the book, but preferably you go to a specialist that can teach you the whip of things. Okay, so that's the bondage. But in that surrender, you know, she can just let go. And when a woman can let go, allows herself to relax in that moment, because she don't have to think.
She doesn't have to be in control and charge of everything. Yeah.
Then what happens is finally she can switch off her brain, and that will make her much more orgastic. Because she is in that mental state of surrender, of letting go, of I have no control. It just happens to me. So I don't need to feel like a slut, because he just ties me, does whatever the fuck he wants with me. As dirty. And then you can push the boundaries further and further, because in that moment she's just your sex slave.
Yeah.
And then it allows her to be as dirty as she wants to be. And let me give you this tip. Read some erotic stories by and for women. You will be surprised at how dirty it is. It's wild.
My favorite author, she writes historical pieces, but her name is M.E.M. Brown. I love her stuff. She is brilliant at like breaking it down.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But so women are much more dirty than we give them credit. Why? Because they have been judged to be a slut and this and that. But let's be honest, if a woman is in touch with her own body and gets to know and is not traumatized, and you know your shit, we can't enjoy at all.
Yeah.
We come to their heels, you know, because
women, I think, sometimes are more dirty than men.
Oh, much more.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit more dirty.
Exactly. If she feels
comfortable in her sexuality,
Yeah, and if she feels it's okay that this man will not judge her for disgusting, beautiful, disgusting.
Some women just don't give a fuck.
Exactly. I'm not gonna break over my experience with that, but it's absolutely true. But so there's that. So then you have that's the bondage thing.
No.
Then you have the dominance and the submission, which is of course very tightly linked to it. Whereas a dominant man or dominant woman, you lead, you take care, you take responsibility, and it takes a few things. The first thing is what does the submissive get? Well, first of all, 100% attention. 100% attention. So you get nourished by somebody that is, you're in that moment there with. If that is not the kind of dominant, if the dominant is not acting like that, don't do it. It's dangerous. But it has to be completely focused on you. So that's something very nourishing. The second thing is, again, when you submit, you allow yourself to allow somebody else to take care of things, which is nourishing, which is rejuvenating, which recharges people, so they can take control of their lives even more.
Right.
Because it's like plug-in, literally sometimes, you know. And then the third thing in dominance, it is literally something biological. That's why most women are sexually submissive, because in primal times, a man needed to be strong enough, need to lead, need to be the powerhouse. Well, actually, we're like the white blood cells of the human body. Suppose the human race is a human body, you have the red blood cells that nourish, that bring the food, that bring the oxygen, that is the ladies, that took care of the family, made sure everything was organized, kept the peace, made sure men didn't kill each other all the time, you know. Let's be honest. And then the man had to fight and had to find very nourishing foods, which is meat. Let's be honest. So that's how it used to be. But now, you know, we have a completely different society. But our biology has not evolved like that. So of course, that's why a lot of very powerful women get with the most horrible men, with like these psychopaths or narcissists. Why? Because finally there's a man that can take the lead, that takes her and sees her femininity. Well, that's what she thinks. But he just doesn't give rats. He doesn't give it a shit. And so what happens then? Well, her heart gets broken, and that's why a lot of very powerful women talk so much about toxic masculinity, because that is what they need, toxic man. Because strong, caring man they will not engage because she has her front. As though those men think, oh well, she will not accept my care. She will not. She doesn't trust me enough for me to take care of her. And so for women, it's transformative too. It teaches them that in surrender there lays great power. When you learn to surrender as a woman, in practice, just by this ritual almost of surrendering your body and your satisfaction and your desires to a man, well, in that moment you learn like, oh, I don't have to always keep control. And I've seen big transformations like that. Some of my clients, my female clients, and also some of my male clients actually, that came to me that had control issues, their lives literally in a few weeks transformed from the moment they went into the BDSM.
Wow.
Because all of a sudden, it's like play. Like, why do children learn so fast? Because of play. They play. And when you play, you are that other person.
Yeah.
So in that moment when you do the sexual play in BDSM, you learn, aha, wow, I can be somebody that can accept care, they can accept love, can accept these things. Then we have, of course, the last thing, the masochism.
Yeah.
And that's for a lot of people very strange. How can you join being spanked? You know, some people go even further where there are needles.
Oh God.
Where there is cutting.
Oh God.
It goes very much. It can go very far. And of course, some people are a little bit troubled. You know, they had horrible experiences in the past, but by taking ownership of that pain, in that moment, they can transform. It's like you have this trauma, I have this trauma. You know what? I take ownership of what happened to that, and it's my choice. I choose to say yes because one of the main key things is consent. That is number one in BDSM. Consent means that the woman or the man, the submissive, has the right to make a halt. So very often a lot of people work with like green, go on, or give me more, you pussy.
Yeah.
Or it's like, it's on the verge, pay attention, red, everything stops now.
Yeah.
And so it's very important that, you see, so in that surrender, the submissive learns like, I can surrender, I can allow a person to take care of me, to take control, but I always have the power. I just allow them to take care of me.
Yeah.
And for the person that's dominant, it's also transformative because somebody's trusting you completely almost. You know? But you know that, you know inside also, you can start slowly but surely push the boundaries. And because you know that she or he will say stop when it's too much.
Can I play devil's advocate here? A person who has a lot of trauma, who goes to see someone who's a masochist, a sadist, why would they not just go do trauma work with the counselor?
Well, because
as opposed to having needles and
there's
stuff.
something as self-determination. Self-determination is a need that we have. We want to take ownership. And so you can go to trauma release and you can do EMDR. I use that too sometimes, which is like eye movement desensitization therapy that helps, or a somatic work where you learn to feel your body. Because trauma is a tensing of your neurology, you know. So, but what you can do is then, through that pain, it's transformative, but it's something that people don't realize. Is from a certain moment of pain, if you can stay present and relax and surrender to the intense sensations of spanking, for example, or choking, or whatever it happens, your body gets flooded with endorphins. With oxytocin, the hugging hormone, is actually a stressor. Because it helps to work together when there's a tiger there. That's right. And so you get dopamine because, yes, I can do it, I can push. You know? So you go. So you have this entire mixture, this neurochemical potion that can make you literally high, and that's what they call subspace. So you can have it just only from the surrender in bondage, but it goes much deeper, much more transformative when you do it with BDSM, with dominance, with pain. And then literally in the body, the pain becomes pleasure. And I believe that the same principle was used back in the day when men went through a rite of passage. Why? It was mostly very painful, very frightening. You faced death, or at least you felt like you was facing death. For example, like those natives Americans that had like spikes through all their bodies and they had to hang back completely. But what happened? I think that gives you such a neurochemical bath that all of a sudden you realize, oh, if I can take this, nothing will stop me. It teaches you that you can take much more than you give yourself credit. And then like that, the dominant is taking care, is showing the submissive how much she or he can take. The dominant is teaching by slowly, and that's the key, slowly, well, at least if you work with somebody that's not experienced, slowly but surely, with a good of sensitivity for what the other person, how the other person reacts, to push their own boundaries, have them go further and further and further, and so much further than they could ever have imagined. I had women that I spanked so hard that my hand was literally bruised for a week. I'm not kidding. But she's very, she normally like a little touch, like ow, ow, ow. And in that moment, all of a sudden, she started to go much deeper into sports, for example, because you realize like pain, it's nothing anymore. And so you can empower each other in such a way. And that's why BDSM is such a transformative thing. It helps you to step into a different role than you're used to. For example, if you're not very dominant, you can learn to become dominant, or the other way around. And you are always dominant, you always want to be in control, then you can learn to let go of control. The second thing is, okay, you both are completely attentive to each other. So you're practicing as dominant, you're practicing being attentive, and you want attention.
Yes.
We all want attention, but women so much more. If you give her your full, unapologetic, but attentive attention, it's life transforming. And then the third thing is, well, you do something naughty, and we all like to rebel a little bit.
Sure.
And if we don't rebel, you're gonna feel a little bit of as if you're a slave. You want to be a slave? I don't. So please, if you feel the urge, get proper instruction and dare to play it with dominant. I don't say that you have to start spanking or choking or tying people down. Start simple. Start with something very simple like pull the roots of the hair, not the top, please. Pull the roots.
My wig's gonna come off.
You just go here and pull it closer to you, and then you bite yourself slightly in the lobe of her ear. For example, you pin her against the wall, you pin her against the bed. Take your hand and you go slowly, a little bit of, not to the front, to the sides, but you little, like literally are compressing her arteries slightly. You know, those things are slow, they're soft, they're not too hard, but it shows her that you're dominant, so you don't have to go crazy.
No.
But be aware that once you start to do this, and you start to awaken that possibility in her mind, you might be surprised of what she will ask from you, because, don't get me wrong, it can get very, very dirty.
Well, Nico, thank you so much for talking about this. I've never heard it described in terms of like it's the role play that actually is what brings people freedom and some healing. So thank you for sharing this with us. And guys, don't forget to follow Nico at his Instagram. We've included it, I'll put it in the description as well. Make sure that you follow his Instagram. And yeah, I just advise you, like he said, make sure that you're with someone who's trained and who really cares for you, who's not just like trying to, you know, have an ego fest on your body. I would not encourage that at all.
No, yeah, and also I want to say, most women are really dreaming of a man that is a very gentleman in public, and then back home he becomes this dark, almost dark wild beast that takes her and does whatever the fuck he wants.
Well, guys, remember this, that you have what it takes, and in this moment, whether you're tied down or not, You are loved. I will see you in my next video. You take care.